Hi, this is Lynn,
And this is Paul,
and we're
along the way.
yeah,
And we're glad that you're with us.
and we thought we'd talk a little bit more about the subject we mentioned last week of the bivocational, and one of the questions Paul had for me when we were talking about various topics to address
Mm-hmm.
was how this impacted me as a wife
Yes. And mother.
and mother,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's difficult. We chose that I would stay at home with the children and not work. There were a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
though, where I had to work and Paul stayed with the children.
Which meant I got a couple of the apple pies from McDonald's that she came home with sometimes.
Yep, I did work McDonald's. I worked in a Christian bookstore.
I learned how to cook somewhat enough to survive. But usually with her on the phone telling me, I'd say there's nothing here in the cupboards, and she'd send me back to the cupboards, get this, get this, get this, and over the phone she'd turn it into a masterpiece. So there were challenges for sure.
There are. Um, and one of the things I would do to make a little money and still be at home was make homemade bread and sell the bread. Um, I wish I knew canning, which I'm doing now because I think we could have made some money with that. And I make homemade vinegar now, and
Mm-hmm.
we could have made money with that. Um, but it it was difficult sometimes because Paul had to be gone so many hours. He had to work the part-time job, but he also had to work the part-time, full-time job for the church as well.
And some of that time in school as well. So sometimes it was triple load. Um, and that's hard. That's not only hard on her, it's hard on me, it's hard on the kids. So, what were some of the things that we did in bivocational ministry during those really squeezed years when time was at such a premium? What are some of the things that we did to help compensate for that and make up for that a bit?
Well, one was because he was out so often. He most of his jobs he'd have to leave early in the morning, so he would have breakfast with the children. It gave him one-on-one time with the children,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and gave me a chance to sleep
To
late,
sleep late.
which I'm a night owl. He's a morning person.
So that kind of worked out.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see each other all that much when we were both awake, but
But our priority was the children.
yes.
I mean, we still had the priority of each other, and we didn't neglect each other.
Right.
But when the children are small, you need to keep them as a priority as well.
And I think that is probably one of the things that became very valuable to me. I'm sure to Lynn as well. Um, I was not very good and naturally at time management, and as tough as those years were, sometimes it taught me a lot about using using the time that I had the best that I could for the sake of our family. Time with the kids, time with Lynn, uh, time for study when I was still in school, as well as working the job. All of that had to have its place, and somewhere in there, you had to get some sleep and even some recreational time, if possible. That didn't happen too much.
Well,
Uh,
no,
mhm.
we did keep
As a family, we did.
we did keep
Mm-hmm.
some time off,
Yeah.
and just have downtime with the kids, and as a family,
Yeah.
play games, do little outings to parks, or
Yeah.
things that didn't cost anything, but still let your children know
Mm-hmm.
that they're a priority.
Absolutely. Um, we've all seen the many movies that are out there about the dad who promises his kids that he'll be at a play or a sporting event or something like that, and routinely never makes it, and the kid grows up disappointed. And I did not want to be that dad. I worked hard at not being that dad. Part of that meant not promising things that were too risky to promise. But the other side of that was to make every effort possible to be there whenever I could. And
Yeah.
it had to be a legitimate reason that kept me away. Uh, so, I think that whole business of going through that time, you can go through it and complain and feel sorry for yourself, or you can go through it and understand that God is training you. I am so grateful looking back at some of that boot camp kind of training in time management.
Yeah.
You learn what's precious, and you learn what can be sacrificed. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a it's a complex topic, um, and there's no one right way for each family.
right.
Every family has to do, as a popular expression is, you do you. Uh, but we do us as the Bible would teach us to do, and keeping the family and that priority, and then keeping the ministry as a priority, and keeping those priorities in order.
Yep.
It takes work. It is not an easy task, but it works.
It does work if you work at it, and like she said, if you know what your priorities are, if it's God first, and family second, and ministry third, uh, then you've got a point on the horizon you can steer towards. And it doesn't mean the decisions will always be easy in terms of what you do and what you don't do, but if you have that guide, that will help sort out the priorities. You put yourself last in that respect. You are living for the Lord. You're living for your family, and you need those two things in place to minister well in the church. So.
And if you're not ministering in a pastoral role, but you're one of the lay leaders in the church, you too also
Mm-hmm.
need to keep God first, family second, job next, and ministry goes after that.
And encourage, if that's true of you, if you're on the lay leadership side in ministry, encourage that in your pastor and his family. Because know that they are struggling to serve you and serve the Lord and take care of their family. They're wrestling with those priorities. You can be an encouragement to them by helping them keep those priorities as they should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. I think our ducks just squawked.
more than likely. Something
Yes.
else we didn't have earlier on in ministry.
No.
Well, I think we can tackle still another facet of this perhaps next time.
Yeah, there's more to tackle,
There
that's
is
for sure.
more to tackle. So we want to thank you for joining us for this episode of Along the Way, and we would invite your comments, and we'd love to hear what you're going through in bivocational ministry, what's working, what's not.
Give us a thumbs up,
Mm-hmm.
like, subscribe, pass it on.
Yep.
Copy the link, send it out to your friends.
Yes, please do.
Um,
And if you have something specific that you would like us to address in future episodes, we'd love to hear about that as well. You can put that in the comments section too.
So this is Lynn,
And this is Paul.
and
Along the Way.
we'll see you down the road.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.